What's up everyone? I'm Ryan. I live in Cambodia. I make videos, subscribe below, and today I want to talk about why Sarah and I decided to leave Canada and move overseas. We've been living in foreign countries since 2014. That's 2 years in Vietnam, 3 years in China, 2 years in Ecuador, and almost a year now in Cambodia. I'll tell you why we left, why I love expat life more than I love living in Canada, and why I don't think that we'll ever return to live in Canada again. I feel like we need a dun 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 after that.
Y'all don't know people like this. 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 Y'all don't know people like this.
Oh, Canada. It's my home and native land. Of course, there's a lot to love about living in Canada. They legalized weed. Do you guys like feeling cold? Canada's great because everyone is nice, the healthcare system is great, it's safe, it's boring as f***. After living there for 30 plus years, I needed something different. I wanted to see how other people see the world, how other people live. Do people from Madagascar bathe in maple syrup every third Sunday too? Sarah and I first tested the waters of international living when we moved to Slovakia to teach English in 2008. At the time, we were just looking for a break from our mundane lives living in Toronto. We signed a year contract. We'll just do this for a year, then we'll come home. We didn't even consider staying longer. But it was apparent as soon as we got back to Canada that life was more exciting living overseas. People in Slovakia didn't live to work, they worked to live. There were less rules, more decisions were being made based on quality of life rather than safety or making money. They also let you go to a park on a nice sunny day and sip a cold beer. In Canada, that privilege would cost you a $100 fine. I remember heading out of my house once to go to a friend's house. Spring had just sprung. It was like when the weather changed over, you didn't need a jacket anymore. So I thought, I'm gonna pour a beer into a little plastic cup, sip the beer as I walk. It's about a 15-minute walk, most of it through a park, down a trail. So I'm walking along, enjoying my beer, and all of a sudden,
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Move.
from behind, two cops pull up on bicycles. They had seen me enter the trail with this plastic cup, and they had to come check out, just make sure I wasn't sipping on a beer like a dirty garbage human piece of shit. I was like, it's nice, it's a beautiful day, I just want to enjoy it, have a cold beer out. And the guy was like,
No, it's not beautiful. It's not beautiful.
it's like, you're policing the weather on me now? This was exactly around the time when our mayor had been caught on video smoking crack. Nothing happened about that, but I'm getting a ticket for sipping on a beer on a beautiful day. I remember another day we decided we were gonna get out of the city, go north, go up to a lake and just sit by the lake. We drove up to Lake Simcoe, which is like 744 kilometers squared, giant lake. We started driving along the shores of it, looking for a place to have like a little picnic. In Canada, we like to sell off all our lakeside properties to the rich people so they can build their big rich houses and no one else but the rich can enjoy the lake. But eventually we found this dead-end street. There was not much to it, but I could park my car there, and we ended up ordering a pizza and sitting in the car and eating the pizza. And then like 10 minutes in, some cops roll up.
Oh, excuse me, guys. You can't park your car here.
Come on, man, we're just trying to enjoy this pizza. This is a dead-end street. No one even lives on this street. We're not bothering anybody. Just let us finish our pizza.
No, them's the rules. Gotta leave.
That's it. F this, I'm out of here. We came up with a plan. I would figure out how I can make money from my computer anywhere in the world. Still working on that one. And Sarah would become a biology teacher, which would require us staying in Canada a little bit longer so she could get her teaching credentials. Eventually, Sarah graduated, she got a job teaching science in Vietnam, and our lives changed forever. Yes, Canada is safe, but some people like living on the edge a little bit. They like a little excitement in their lives. I love that just going to the market to buy fruit here in Cambodia offers more adventure than an average entire day in Canada. Ooh, we got spiders and cockroaches. That looks disgusting. Yes, Canada is easy. After living there for 30 years, I know how things work, but some people like a little bit of challenge in their day-to-day lives. I love being out of my comfort zone and trying to learn the ways of life of a new place. Every country I've lived in, I felt like I was there studying to get my master's of the culture of the country that I was living in, trying to learn how they live, what makes them happy, what makes them tick, and trying to take aspects of their life and adapting them to fit my life. Living overseas also means living for much cheaper than I would in Canada, which means more time for myself, more time to do whatever I want, and less time working. It also means we can go out for dinner at least once a day, which we generally do. In Canada, we were going out for dinner maybe once a week. Fast food doesn't count as food. It should only count as antidepressant medication. How much would this meal cost in Canada? We went for yakitori. It's a bunch of Japanese food, a lot of grilled stuff. Look at all this good stuff. Ooh, that looks good. Yeah. You want to get some of that in your stomach? Put that in your neck. Yum yum. In Cambodia, the total was $31.70. I quickly looked up some prices for a yakitori restaurant in Toronto, and I found that it was generally twice as much for a lot of the dishes that we ate, sometimes almost 4 times as much. And the beers? Oh, the beers. The beers were 13 times as much in Canada, $6.80 USD versus 50 cents. On the weekend, I went out for pizza, then to a bar for some beers, then I went to an outdoor concert, and I drank a couple of craft beers at the concert. That's a $26 night in Cambodia. In Canada, the same quality of pizza would be about $16, I would guess. You're paying a minimum of $6 for a beer at the bar. A beer at an event, you're looking at least $9, I would guess. Probably more for like a IPA or something like I was drinking. Plus the concert ticket would have cost at least twice as much. That's a $58 night minimum. Half the cost means I have to work half as much, or I can have twice as much fun. Okay, what else? Do I need to go into the weather? Sure, Cambodia is hot and humid and sometimes just too much, but in Canada, it snows. If I want to go outside with no shirt on in Canada, I only got about 3 months out of the whole year that I can do it. That's just not enough for someone like me who likes to go wild. More excitement, less boring, less work and more play, more tarps off opportunities. Travel. More travel opportunities into places that are way different than the country that you're living in. In Cambodia here, I can jump on a bus to Vietnam, I can jump on a plane to Thailand in less than 5 hours, less than $100 return. I'm in a new culture, speaks a new language, eats a different cuisine. In Canada, I can drive to the US, which is essentially fat Canada. But if I want to experience a different culture, one that speaks a different language, that eats a different type of food, then I have to go all the way down to Mexico, I think would be the closest. That's a $730 return direct flight right now, or $570 flight if you were okay with it taking 9 hours to get home. After that, you're looking at 6+ hours to get to Europe and probably at least $500. That 2-week vacation that your employer in Canada is entitled to give you, it's gonna go quickly. Can you imagine only getting 2 weeks off a year? That's not a life. Living internationally, at least pre-COVID, had Sarah and I traveling almost 1/3 of the year. That's 4 months out of the year we'd be on the road, traveling, experiencing new cultures, seeing how they live, bettering ourselves as human beings along the way, driving the windy roads of Andalusia, Spain, playing roulette in Macau, 2 weeks of backpacking across China, drinking beers in Liverpool at John Lennon's old hangout, going to Dracula's castle in Transylvania, hiking around extinct volcanoes that are filled with beautiful blue waters in Ecuador, and that was just in 2019 alone. The fact of the matter is, I wouldn't be able to live the life I want to live, the life that I'm living, if I moved back to Canada. I wouldn't be able to get by just by making videos for YouTube. I'd have to get a full-time job, and at this point, I think that would be pretty difficult for me. And I don't think I could take working 40 hours a week. I would be so miserable. I wouldn't be able to travel and experience new cultures as much. I'd have to buy a car, which means more expenses, more work, another thing to worry about. I wouldn't be able to go out to cool restaurants and bars nearly as much. My social life would suffer, as most of my friends in Canada are well into their careers and they're making a lot more money than I would be making. Also, Sarah's family and my family, they live about 3,000 kilometers apart, so one of us would still have to be away from our family. I definitely would love to be able to see my close friends and my family more. I'd love to watch my niece and nephew grow up. I'd be safer, I wouldn't have to deal with rats. I'd get back on that sweet-ass Canadian healthcare, maybe do some unnecessary surgeries. And of course, my skin would be softer as I would be able to start doing my monthly maple syrup baths again. But As much as I miss sitting in that traditional Canadian tub, toque on the head, syrup between the toes, I just can't see me giving up the life I have as an expat. We probably won't be living in Cambodia the rest of our lives, but I'm pretty confident that I will not live in Canada ever again. Sorry, Mom. Are you an expat? Do you live? Where do you live? Do you think you'll ever go home? Where are you gonna stay for the rest of your life? What's going on with you? Let me know in the comments below. And this is Ryan in Cambodia, signing off with a take care, comb your hair. I'm out.
Prefer when I'm by myself. I don't wanna hang around y'all. Pray for good health. One day I'm really gon' ball. Fuck around and buy the whole mall. Breaking that cake. Flexing 700 in the bank. Not a superhero, I don't save. Look at my face. Look at my grades. Don't match up.